as you're writing, so I'll tell you. I'm going to explain. Okay, so like it says here, algebra is all about making things simpler. So that's what we talked about. It's all about patterns. It's all about a rule that links different things without having to do it each time in different sets of numbers. Okay, so we talked about that a little bit yesterday. So instead of doing a sum or working out a solution for lots of different combinations of numbers, you can come up with a single rule using different symbols, and then you have an algebraic expression, an expression that describes a whole lot of things, okay, for any number of cases. And so that's what it means by general case. And it's saying that if you have something, for example, you want to add three numbers together, and say, well, what's the sum of those three numbers? You could do it separately each time, 1 plus 2 plus 3, or 7 plus 18 plus 81. Or you could say, if we have three numbers, A, B, and C, A, B, and C can be any number, their sum is, when you add them together, it's A plus B plus C. And so these A's, B's, X, and Y's, the name for these is a variable. A variable is also sometimes called a pronumeral, but it's called a variable because the value of this symbol represents is all sorts of different varied values. It could be 1, it could be 100, it could be 1500, it could be all sorts of different numbers. That's why it's called a variable, because the value varies. Alright? So for example, to work out an average of three numbers, you add three numbers together and then divide it by 3. So we could write the expression differently for each three numbers that we have. So you could say, well, what's the average of 4, 5, and 6? It's 4 plus 5 plus 6 over 3. And then that's what 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 6 is 15. And then you divide it by 3, and then you get 5. Right, but we could also have a general case that says that if we have three numbers, A and B and C, if you have three numbers, A plus A, B, and C, these can be any numbers. If you add them together, A plus B plus C, and then divide it by 3, you get this number X. And X is nothing special, it simply means the average of A, B, and C. So that's the whole point of algebra. We can just say X is the average, A, B, and C are any three numbers, and we can easily then just substitute values in or work out what the average is of these three numbers. Okay, so that's what generalized arithmetic is. Basically saying instead of using the symbols of numbers, so we know that a 6, looks a certain way. We have a 6 that looks like a 6, and that just means 6 things. But instead of using those numerical symbols, we're going to use letters to say, well, it can be a varied value. It can be a whole different set of values, but I'm going to come up with a rule about this particular number. So we can use symbols to represent relationships that are written in words. Okay, and that's the important thing here. So if you can see down the bottom, x plus 8, okay, any number x. X is not a particular number. X is a whole set of numbers. It can be any number. X is a whole set of numbers, and so x plus 8 is a way to write any number, which is x plus 8. Alright, or you could express it as add 8 to any number, the expression is x plus 8. So like it says here, x represents any number. Alright, so that's the idea of generalized arithmetic. Instead of having to add 8 to all the separate numbers, we can come up with a rule. If you have any number, to get 8 more than that number, you just have that number plus 8, which is x. X represents that. Okay, any questions? I'm going to do a couple of examples, and then we'll do a little bit of work. So it's just getting you thinking in terms of patterns and in terms of linking descriptions, sentences and words. We want to link that with a mathematical explanation. So this x plus 8 is the way we describe it using symbols mathematically. This is the way we express it in English, or in just using the words that we know. Okay, so there's a link between them. The maths is describing something. Okay. So can I move it up a little bit? I can come back down. So if I just move up there, so if you can see this one, writing symbols, any number multiplied by 3, then add 2. Alright, so we can, so this any number, what's this stopping me the line? Seconds. Let's close it and restart. Don't worry about it. Okay, so writing symbols, any number multiplied by 3, then add 2. Okay, so we have, well, any number, what letter do you want to use for that, Ainsley? What letter would you like to use? What symbol do you want to use to represent any number? A. Okay? So we can say, let's call that A. What do we have to do to A first?
We have to multiply by 3.
Okay, we have to multiply by 3, and then after that, we have to do
3A plus 2.
Good, so this sentence is going to be 3 times A, and I'll rewrite it in a sec. So that's multiplied by 3, and then we add 2. And remember in algebra, you don't have to put the multiplication. When we have a number and a variable together, you put the number first, no multiplication sign, and then the variable. So that is equal to 3A plus 2. Okay, so no symbol. Okay, and the number comes first. Alright? So we're just looking at the description of the sentence and saying, well, A multiplied by 3, so that's 3A, and then you add 2, that's plus 2. Okay? Move it up a little bit. Writing symbols, the difference between two numbers. We'll just, hang on. Okay. Right, I'll go down while I'm asking this question. So we've got the difference between any two numbers. So we're saying, well, we just need symbols that represent any two numbers. They can be any. Yeah, that's right. So if we said that the two numbers, let's call it one x, any number, doesn't matter what it is. X, call it, and y. Okay, so choose x and y as symbols. Symbols for any number. Actually, it's just working also. Alright? And between any two numbers. And so like Josh said, the difference between that, what operation do we do for a difference? Yeah, you subtract things. If you want to find a difference between 4 and 3, you do 4 minus 3. If you want to find the difference between 12 and 20, you do 20 minus 12. And so the difference is going to be... Oh, yeah. The difference between two numbers, we've chosen x and y. So it's simply, the way we write it in symbols is x minus y. X and y, you take it away, you find out what the difference is. Alright? You could also have 4 y minus x. It may depend on which is bigger, but still you find out what the difference is. Okay, so now we can say, well, if, in this case, if x is 20 and y is 5, well, it's 20 minus 5. Or if x is 35 and y is 2, it's 35 minus 2. So we've got the expression, and all we have to do is substitute in the different values. But we already know the general expression. That's what it means by generalized arithmetic. It's the general expression for any number, and you can just substitute specific cases in. Alright, so that's a really important idea that we've got here. So we need to be familiar. And the last one that I'm going to do here, I'll just leave it up there. Think of a number, divide it by 6, and then take away 8. Alright, so Carl, give us a number first. No, sorry, give us a symbol that represents this number, any number. Z, okay? So think of a number, we're going to call it Z. Alright? So what's the first thing we have to do to it, Sarah? What do we have to do to this number first? Divided by 6. So how can we write that with a math symbol? Yeah, we can do it two ways. I'll do it one way first and then the second way. So we could do it like this first. Z divided by 6, is that what you meant? Z over 6, good. That's a nice, neater way, I think. And then what's the second thing we have to do? What do you have to do next? What's it say in the sentence? Take away. So what operation is that going to be? In maths, what do we mean when we take away? What operation do we do? Yeah, we subtract. So off both of these, we have to minus 8. Okay, I'll put an or here. Z over 6 minus 8. So using so this is in words, this is in symbols. Okay, so we're saying the same thing. You're saying you have any number, you divide it by 6 minus 8. That's what the expression looks like. So now if I put in a number, I know what is going to happen. So if I put in Z equals 36, 36 divided by 6 is 6, minus 8 is minus 2. Okay, and all these sort of things. Right, so I'd like you to open up your books. So I'll write down the exercise here, and we can work on that.